So it's Dario Ballestri, the home hero, that will start on the pole, the dominant TQ star. And then Mazzeo, the Super Bowl winner, rolling off behind him in second. Dominic Greiner, third of Team Serpent. Bruno Coelho, fourth for X-Ray. Fifth, Simon Kurzbuck for Team Shepherd. And then Robert Piche, Mean Vedrak, Takaki Shimo, Carmen Raiola, and Kyle Branson are your starting grid for the IFMAR 1/10th IC Track World Championship Final 2016-17. And our coverage of the entire event provided to you on RC Racing TV by Team Shepherd, HBI Racing, Runner Time Fuel and IFMAR. Let's get ready to rumble and crown a new world champion. And away they go. It's a solid start from most of the top order. Ballestri comfortably in. Mazzeo, his wingman, right behind him. Mazzeo going for the overtake immediately, straight into the first few corners. Mazzeo going on the offensive. Greiner also looking to attack. Coelho is swarming around Greiner. They are literally nose to tail around the first lap. There is no separating them as they come across the line for the first time. Ballestri is under pressure already from Mazzeo. Mazzeo looking for the early offensive, but Greiner's right there as well. What does Mazzeo do? He's having to try and defend from Greiner and attack Ballestri all at once. And how close is this final? They are still nose to tail off the entire straight. 2 seconds separating the entire field. There is basically no spread at all. They are all some of the most competitive and fast and furious drivers in the world of RC racing. And you would expect nothing less from these guys as Ballestri holding the early lead. They are pretty much line astern away from the start. Ballestri, Mazzeo, Greiner, Coelho and Kurzbuck, the top 5 in line. Piche, Vedrak, Shimo, Raiola and Branson, they are exactly in grid order and they're running almost qualifying laps. This is absolutely fascinating stuff. They're nose to tail, running almost identical lap times, and there's barely any space in between them. This is going to come down to the finest margins possible in RC racing. Ballestri's got the best start he could possibly have. He's starting to edge out a little bit. Greiner now going on the offensive against Mazzeo in second place. Mazzeo now having to defend. Greiner, the Serpent teammates there, having an attack on each other. Greiner desperately wants this world title, and he's looking up the inside into the Shepherd S. Doesn't quite make it. Trying to switch back again. Greiner on the ultra offensive. Greiner earlier in this week looked to be the only man that could stop Dario Ballestri on raw pace, and since then he's dropped off just a little bit, but he's been ultra competitive and he absolutely dominated his semi-final. Even after losing the lead to Bruno Coelho, he took it back and stormed to victory, and now he's trying to get past the cork in the bottle, which is Mazzeo. He must feel like Mazzeo's holding him up a little bit. Now he has to try and navigate his way past, but where do you pass? There's plenty of passing opportunities on these tracks, but these guys are so experienced, so wily, and so full of it now. But Ballestri's just made a mistake. Ballestri in front of them has actually fallen down to 4th. Suddenly, something's happened to Ballestri. Ballestri's car is stalling. It's coughing out. It's in the HBI hairpin now. It's fallen all the way to the back. Something's happened to Ballestri's car. It's coughing and spluttering all over the place. And it's still through. Something happened to Ballestri there. That is an absolute disaster for Ballestri, our TQ. And now, the battle we've been watching, it's not for second place, it's for the lead. It is for the World Championship. Let battle commence. Mazzeo now holding off Greiner, knowing that there's an additional bit of pressure. He was going on the offensive on Ballestri, but Ballestri with a mysterious issue, and Ballestri's now in the pits. This could be absolute disaster. What a real shame if this is the way his World Championship campaign ends. They've taken his car to the back. It needs running repairs. What a massive shame. Ballestri, the dominant runner through the qualifying rounds, and Greiner's made the pass for the lead. Greiner has made the pass for the lead and he is through. This is a huge opportunity for Dominic Greiner now. One man's misfortune is another man's profit and opportunity, and Greiner has seized the opportunity. He's passed Mazzeo and now looking to gap the advantage, looking to take the lead. So after just under 4 minutes of action, it's Greiner out in front, Mazzeo second, now flying the flag for the home fans. Bruno Coelho third. 4th is Simon Kurzbuck, and Mean Vedrak has had a good start. The former 1/10th world champion, the only former 1/10th world champion in this field, has moved up through the order nicely, and he's up to 5th and is challenging Simon Kurzbuck for position. So once we get to the runner time turns, if we can we drop back to the 4th and 5th cars in line? So the next 2 cars, they are nose to tail there, right in the centre of your shot. It's Simon Kurzbuck defending hard from Mean Vedrak of Thailand, the former world champion in this discipline. We should have known that he would come good come finals day, and he's right there putting pressure on the Team Shepherd star for Kurzbuck. Kurzbuck desperate to try and add a 1/10th world title to his 1/8th world title that he won last year. But for right now, he's under pressure for Mean Vedrak. Back in the field, Takaki Shimo's moved up nicely, up to 6th place. 9th place, Carmen Raiola. Ninth place starter Carmen Raiola has made his way up through the field as well very nicely. And it looks to me like Ballestri's campaign's all over. He hasn't re-emerged from the pits. And Robert Piche looks like he's in the pits, but this doesn't look like a scheduled stop to me. It will be a little bit early for one of those. And it looks to me like the lead battle is closing up again. So if we move to the Shepherdess, then we'll see the battle for the lead. Greiner is now going to fend off Mazzeo. Mazzeo's got into his groove and has closed the gap up again. Coelho is now joining in on this battle as well. We should have known it wouldn't be too long until X-Ray's Portuguese star Bruno Coelho was joining in the fun. The 1/10th European champion wanting to add a world title to his collection as well. And he is not far behind Mazzeo at all. Kurzbuch still fending off Mean Vedrak for the moment. But we're watching this battle for second and third, and they both hit the pits at the same time. So onto the pit cam, all the top three in the pits at the same time. Greiner has a brilliant stop, as does Mazzeo, as does Coelho. You wouldn't expect anything less. No mistakes from all of them, and they are pretty much out of the pits as they came in. And in fact, I think Greiner's actually got a little bit of an advantage over Mazzeo. A brilliant pit stop for the Team Serpent star Greiner. It's actually Team Serpent 1 and 2 right now down the main straight. So we pick up Coelho, the Portuguese star, and let's hang there in the Shepherdess for a second to find Kurzbuch and Mean Vedrak. Come through the chicane. There they are. Their battle for fourth is still fast and furious and is still happening in earnest. Kurzbuch just can't shake off Vedrak right now, and Vedrak is desperate to win a second 1/10th IC Track world title. Two world champions battling it out. This is the caliber of driver we have in this final for you. Don't you ever doubt the quality of these RC racers. They are the best in the world at their craft, and they are proving it right now. Kurzbuch on the defensive through every corner, using every inch of his nous and his skill to block the corners off, park it on the apex, try and kill momentum for Vedrak. We've seen that line a few times. You see how he comes outside into the corner, seeming to leave the inside free, and then cuts the apex off at the last minute. That's a great way of checking your opponent's momentum. But right now, it looks to me like Vedrak is just too fast for Kurzbuch to handle, and it seems only a matter of time for Vedrak to make the move here. Vedrak is swarming all over the back of him. Vedrak, the Capricorn driver, and he's probably Capricorn's lone hope in this race after the demise of Ballestri. So Vedrak is swarming around the back of Kurzbuch. The urgency is palpable up here. Greiner, Mazzeo and Coelho are still in top three. This is the battle for fourth we're watching right now between Kurzbuch and Vedrak. Carmen Raiola has worked his way up to sixth. Seventh is Carl Branson, the 10th place starter. Takaki Shimo and Robert Piche have lost time, so I think Piche's early stop was not scheduled at all. He's lost 2 laps to these guys, and Dario Ballestri's World Championship tilt lasted just 9 laps. Sport can be so heartbreaking at times, but we are watching those who still survive and press on. We are barely 8 minutes into this final. We still have so much more to unfold here, including a lot of other pit stops, tyre changes still to come as well. Kurzbuch defending his position desperately. The Team Shepherd spearheading the assault there, but Vedrak for Capricorn fighting hard as well. The top three as it stands are Serpent 1 and 2, and then X-Ray, Shepherd, and Capricorn. And it's Shepherd versus Capricorn that we're watching right now. Kurzbuch trying to fend off the advances of Vedrak. Vedrak just looks so much quicker across the ground than him, and he's looking for the pass, but Kurzbuch parks it on the apex again. Great defensive driving. Even when Kurzbuch's not the fastest car out there, he still demonstrates such supreme racecraft. And it's been magical to watch. Vedrak is still there very wide out of the final corner, using every inch of road. This is what it means to these drivers. Through the Shepherdess once more goes the Team Shepherd driver, Kurzbuch. Vedrak looking on the inside, but again, you see there Kurzbuch, he goes out to in the corner, he gets speed off the corner, and he also cuts the apex off, preventing Vedrak from going through with the move. He cuts any space off for him. So if Vedrak is to make the pass, he has to make it so late on the brakes, he has to close right up. Now he has a chance here, through the HPI hairpin, up the inside. Kurzbuch again late on the brakes, denies the opportunity. This is a fantastic battle between two world-class RC racers, and this is phenomenal action we are bringing to you live on RC Racing TV. Our coverage presented to you, of course, by Team Shepherd, which Simon Kurzbuch is racing for, HPI Racing and Runner Time Fuel, through the HPI hairpin again. Kurzbuch again denying Vedrak any room to operate. There's just no room there, and in fact, he's actually checked his momentum a little bit. This is a brilliant drive. You're not missing anything up front, by the way. It's still Greiner leading from Alessio Mazzeo and Bruno Coelho, but this is the best battle on the track at the moment. And Vedrak has lost a little bit of time to Kurzbuch. He comes late there, looking for the move, doesn't get it done. Maybe he has to wait until the next round of pit stops, but all the top guys' pit crews have been so on it so far today That just looks like waiting for a mistake in the pits looks almost impossible. Vedrak nearly making a move through the chicane section there in the middle of the track. That's been so risky and so catching out so many of the top drivers. And there's actually a kind of split in the track across there. There's actually a seam in the track as they come through the Shepherd S once more. I'll kind of show you it here. They go through right there. They go across the track there. There's a seam in the track and there's quite a lot of rutting there. So that can also unbalance the cars as they head through there. There's some rutting and little pop marks in the surface on the inside of the corners where these cars have been pounding the asphalt for the last week or so through free practice, controlled practice, 6 rounds of qualifying, and obviously Super Bowl and the lower finals. Kurzbuch looks like he's moving away a little bit now, just edging a little bit away from mean Vedrak. So let's see if we can hold in the Shepherd S, because we did have a really good battle brewing. Let's go to the pit cam. We have some pit stops happening right now between some of the lower guys. And the leaders are in. Top 3 all in at the same time. Greiner, another slick pit stop. Mazzeo, another great pit stop. Coelho, another slick pit stop. In fact, Coelho, I think, gained some time. So let's hold in the middle section of the track, wait for our leaders to come through. In fact, we've already picked up the battle for second. Nice job there. So Mazzeo now under a little bit more pressure from Coelho, who had a fantastic pit stop that time. That is what's going to settle this race. And meanwhile, that battle for fourth has just hit pit lane as well. And Kurzbuch out with a slick exit from pit road. Vedrak, not so. So in the battle for fourth, it looks like Vedrak has lost a little bit of his advantage there. But we are watching the battle for second right now. Alessio Mazzeo, the one home hero left in this race, working hard to preserve his shot at the trophy. Dominic Greiner slowly edging away. The hugely energetic, hugely passionate young German star for Serpent has been spearheading their Nitro RC campaign for the last season or so. And boy, is he due a major trophy. Could it be the biggest one of them all? For Greiner, it'll be a career highlight, it'll be a career peak. For Mazzeo, exactly the same, and for Coelho, exactly the same. So it is Team Serpent 1 and 2, with Greiner and Mazzeo, and then X-Ray and Coelho running third. Fourth and fifth still are Kurzbuch and Vedrak, and I can tell you that gap between Kurzbuch and Vedrak has leaped out to just under a second. So Kurzbuch slightly slicker pit stop, helping him out there. And he's continuing on for Team Shepherd, spearheading their assault on the World Championship. Breathless stuff. We are only 12 minutes in. We still have 48 minutes to go of action here. And Greiner is running a picture-perfect race. But Mazzeo, I get the feeling Mazzeo is actually closing in a little bit on Greiner. The balance of power between these top 3, it's so slim. The margins are so slim. Coelho, I think, is struggling to last with the top 2. So let's move forward one car and focus on our leader Greiner for a little bit. Through the chicane again. There was me thinking the gap's coming down. It definitely is coming down. It is visibly coming down between Greiner and Mazzeo. It's now down to just over a second. It may even be closer at the line that time. It has actually leaked out by about a tenth that time. Greiner driving such great racing, such great driving under such high pressure. This is a guy who is largely faultless. He's very energetic, very passionate. And under the watchful eye of Michael Salvin and the Serpent head guys, they'll be very pleased with this performance. It's a Serpent 1-2 right now. Coelho trying to represent for X-Ray. Kurzbuch trying to get up there for Team Shepherd, and Mean Vedrak representing for Capricorn after the early demise of Dario Ballestri. Greiner continues on. So we drop back one car to the all-orange car of Mazzeo. Mazzeo is right there. There's the demonstration of the gap. It is that close right now. And we still have a long way to go. We're having a next round of pit stops to cover as well. They are starting to gap Coelho just a little bit. Coelho is just not on the same level of phenomenal qualifying level speed. These guys are putting in qualifying level laps. If you bear in mind that Dominic Greiner's Super Pole lap was a 14.679, his last lap was a 16.562. He's only 1/10 of a second off his qualifying pace. This is marvellous, and it's for an hour-long final. It's exceptional. We really are seeing the best RC racing drivers in the world showing off their craft here. Greiner's focus so far has been faultless, but there's still a very long way to go. There's still a very long way to go. As the drone hovers above the track, catching the action here. Mazzeo with a big slide. Mazzeo with a lurid slide. That's the first flinch we've seen from the top guys so far. Nervy moments from Mazzeo, just a second there, but it's so easy for these guys to have such a brief lapse in concentration or a brief moment where they don't get a corner absolutely perfect, because anything less than absolutely perfect at times out here can be the difference between success and disaster. And they are dancing with danger every single lap around this track. They are that much on the limit. You better believe it. So Mazzeo needs to regroup. It was only a slight slide, but it's allowed Greiner some respite from this battle. And it has allowed Coelho a sniff of the battle for second once again. You see the two cars in your shot there. The orange car, the first of the orange cars is Mazzeo. The second one with the white elements is Bruno Coelho of Portugal and Team X-Ray. Through the IFMAR turns at the far end of the track and onto the main straight once more. Mazzeo and Coelho both putting in qualifying level laps. Meanwhile, the battle for fourth hasn't gone away yet. Kurzbuch and Vedrak are still going at it, but we'll focus on these guys because we are coming up on the next round of pit stops, and I'm very interested to see. So far, these guys have all pitted at the same time, every single time, and I just wonder when... Mazzeo is in the pits. Mazzeo is in the pits. Now, what is he doing this time around? It's just fuel, and back underway. So we watch Coelho to see what he does now. Some other guys are pitting in. Takashimo is in. Carmen Riola and some of the lower guys. We're following Coelho. Does Greiner pit this time? Yes, he does. Let's have a look on the pit cam. Greiner in, fuel, and back underway. No mention of tyres yet. Same for Coelho. He's bound and underway. And this will be a close battle for second as they come out. Coelho's put in a great pit stop there. And he's made time up on Mazzeo. The battle for second is on now. Coelho was just in sight of the second place battle. Now he's right there. And straight away he's on the offensive. Great pass. Great pass up the inside. A magnificent pass up the inside to take the second position away from Mazzeo. And a smooth move, but straight away Mazzeo back on the attack. Mazzeo back on the attack. Anything you can do, Bruno, I can do better. I can pass you at the same corner. You pass me, sir. Brilliant from Mazzeo. This is great driving from these two world-class drivers. No contact in either battle at all. Through the chicane, Mazzeo loose again. He's having problems through that chicane section, and that's where Coelho is pouncing every single lap. These two are putting on a magnificent battle for position through the runner time turns at the far end of the circuit, through the Shepherd S again. Coelho is all over the back of Mazzeo. Mazzeo seems a little bit rattled at this point in time. Coelho has decreased the gap to him, came storming out of the pits right under the back wing of Mazzeo's Team Serpent car. Through the runner time turns and the Shepherd S again. Now Mazzeo, I think, has regained his composure and he's starting to set quick laps again, trying to edge away from Coelho. It looks like he has slightly better race pace, but Coelho is still there and menacing the back wing of that car. Before too long, we could have a rerun of the first semi-final, which was Greiner and Coelho battling away for supremacy. Right now, though, Greiner is taking advantage of these two battling away, and Greiner's also taking advantage of some brilliant pit work. You have to say, he and his Serpent crew have been on it so far. And it was a great pit stop from Coelho, which got him into this position. And this battle is red hot right now. Mazzeo and Coelho still dancing and battling their way towards second spot in the World Championship. Onto the main straight again. Mazzeo, I think, has regained his composure now. And is starting to move away just a little bit. Well, I say a little bit. Do you want to know how much faster Mazzeo was than Coelho on the last lap? 1/100th of a second. That's how fine the margins are right now. Coming onto the main straight again. What was the gap that time? Quite a lot. Coelho dropped 4/10 to him that time. So Mazzeo really starting to get back into his groove and starting to get back to it. I can just point out, by the way, that I think Mean Vedrak has had a problem. He's down in 8th now and has dropped time to those guys in front. So Simon Kurzbuch is now on his own in 4th and has some time to maybe regroup and start getting on the pace of the front guys. But this battle for second refuses to die. Coelho refuses to be shaken off by Mazzeo. I think Mazzeo has slightly the faster car across the ground, but Coelho is just so aggressive. He's like a dog with a bone. He's relentless, and he will consistently keep on the attack at you and will just never give up. His aggression and his passion is what makes him such a popular star in the sport. The reigning 1/10th European champion is still in the fight for a maiden 1/10th world title. As they come through the runner time turns again. Coming up on 20 minutes completed. Greiner now navigating some lap traffic in the form of Mean Vedrak. There's the pace for you. Greiner lapping a former world champion in this event. Mean Vedrak. That really tells you a lot, doesn't it? The relentless pace of these guys is something else altogether. Mazzeo now trying to clear away from Coelho a little bit. He's up around 0.8 of a second now. And Coelho with a big slide. Coelho with a big slide. Let's drop back one car to Coelho because I think we may now have a battle for third on our hands before too long. There's Coelho, the next car in shot. And the car immediately behind is Mr. Simon Kurzbuch. We wondered when it would be time for you to come back and play in the podium positions, Mr. Kurzbuck. And he's been running a solid race so far, but now it's his turn for a little slide in the chicane section. That's been so difficult for all the drivers. It's been a massive challenge for all of them. And this is probably the closest battle on the track right now between these two guys. It's Coelho and Kurzbuck. Coelho with a big slide through the middle chicane section. The car is just dancing over those rumble strips in the middle section. It's so deceptive as Mean Vedrak is very polite, gets out of the way of these two. Lets them through. He's behaving himself very well in terms of lap traffic. No need for blue flags or anything like that. Greiner leads then at 20 minutes in. Greiner leads by 3.1 seconds, which is about as big a gap as he's had over anyone this week. Ahead of Mazzeo in second. Third is Bruno Coelho. And as you can see on your picture, I was going to say he was under pressure for third. He's now lost third. He's now lost third to Kurzbuck. A minor mistake in the IFMAR turns. And that's it. He's out of third and he now needs to fight back against Kurzbuck. Let's have a look on the VRC Pro replay. What happened here? He gets these corners just about spot on. He's pretty good through here. It's in the next few corners where it all goes wrong. He gets caught out in the IFMAR turns. And as we're watching this replay, just clips it on the inside, spins around, a little half spin. That was all it was. Fine margins as ever. We need to go to the pit count now because there's a lot of pit stops happening right now. There we go. A lot of tyre changes happening now. So Greiner, right side tyres going on for Greiner. Coelho is in there as well. I think Mazzeo is in there as well. Almost the whole pit lane is alive with action. And Coelho gets out there. Now, who's the guy in front of him who got out there as well? So Coelho's out there. I have a feeling Coelho may have only changed 2 tyres. Coelho's in the Shepherd S right now. Coelho's in the Shepherd S through to the HPI hairpin. He's just ahead of car 9, which is Carmen Riola, who I don't think has pitted yet. Greiner's back out as well. I think Greiner would have changed 4 tyres. I wonder if Coelho's going with the same strategy that served him so well earlier. Now we're coming round. It's Greiner, Kurzbuck, Mazzeo and Coelho who scored as the top 4. So Kurzbuck is up to second. Now, Greiner is in the HPI hairpin and will be coming through the IFMAR turns very shortly. So he'll be onto the main straight now, the pink and black car. Now, I think he's only changed 2 tyres because he's now scored as your leader. Mazzeo back into second, Coelho back into third. So all those guys changed tyres. It was hard to tell down there in the action whether they changed 2 or 4 tyres. I have a feeling they will have changed 4. The wear rates on these tyres have been so high so far this week that there's no need to risk pushing them that much harder. But Greiner puts a lap on Takaki Shimo of Japan through the middle chicane section, through the HPI hairpin. Once again, Shimo actually is in a good battle. Well, I was going to say a good battle with Rob Peach. Peach is behind him on the track and is a lap behind him on the charts. So nothing to worry about there. Coelho is kind of on his own in third a little bit now. I think Kurzbuck must have had some problem on his pit stop because Kurzbuck is now actually showing as a lap behind the top 3. So I wonder if Kurzbuck was the one who changed 4 tyres and lost a lap in all of that. I wonder if the other guys in front changed 2 right side tyres each. I didn't see them change 4. There was so much action down in the pits that you'd be mistaken for missing out on some of the moments there. There's so much to keep your eyes on here. Through comes Dominic Greiner through the Shepherd S once more. He is your leader. Kurzbuck is not far behind him on the track. So if we drop 3 cars back, we'll have a quick look at our 4th place runner, Simon Kurzbuck. 1, 2, 3, there we go. There's Kurzbuck. He's 4th, but a lap behind these guys. So I do wonder if he's on an alternative strategy, putting 4 tyres on. So all these guys are pitting and appear to have put tyres on. It would not make sense for Kurzbuck unless he had a shocker of a pit stop, which I don't think he did. I find it hard to believe from the Team Shepherd guys who have been so faultless all week. I think he's on an alternative strategy to these guys. That would be my prediction anyway. That'll be what I'm thinking. Kurzbuck is in 4th then. And I think we need to find Mr. Alessio Mazzeo in the orange car. He's hold there. Hold right there. Not the first car to come through. The next car to come through. The all-orange car is Alessio Mazzeo. There's his 2nd place car. And currently, he is about 4 seconds up the road from Bruno Coelho. So the top 3 have spread out a little bit. I just wonder if alternate strategies are pulling into play here. Some guys changing tyres. Others maybe changing more tyres than the others. So as we come up on 25 minutes completed in this World Championship final, it is Dominic Greiner who leads the way. He has led the way pretty much since Dario Ballestri's demise after 9 laps. And he has been faultless ever since then in his performance. A great pass on Alessio Mazzeo to make it up there. And now through the HBI hairpin once more goes Mazzeo, who's second. Bruno Coelho is third. One up from his starting position. Simon Kurzbuck is fourth, but a slight distance back. We are speculating whether he's on a different strategy or not. There's Kurzbuck. Fifth is Carl Branson from 10th on the grid. A great performance so far from Carl Branson. I'm going to keep an eye out for him. His white car, in fact, we dropped just one car back. The next car in line there is the all-white car of Carl Branson. There's the British driver, the British Capricorn driver. So it's two Capricorn drivers now in this final. With the demise of Ballestri, leaves Mean Vedrak, who's now down in 9th place. And it's Carl Branson who is pretty much spearheading the assault now for Capricorn. It's all on the shoulders of that young man from Great Britain. Through the Shepherdess, once more he goes. He's not far behind Alessio Mazzeo, but he's about a lap behind Mazzeo on the scoring charts. Greiner at this point in time is almost threatening to get away here, threatening to break away. And we need to cut to the pits because Mazzeo is in the pits. And he's down and away, a quick fuel stop. Now only fuel that time. I do wonder when these guys will converge in terms of strategy. Mazzeo, though, is running a solid race so far. He was a flamboyant Super Pole winner. He treated the crowd to some brilliant, spectacular driving. More pit stops coming up now. So let's have a look at them on the pit cam. There we go. Greiner is in. Greiner is in. Fuel only for Greiner, and he's back out and underway. So let's see if we can find our leader, Dominic Greiner. He is in the Shepherdess right now. He'll be coming through the middle section of the track right about now. A pink and black Team Serpent car of Dominic Greiner. He's had a solid race so far, a faultless race so far. It's easy enough, as I can just see out the corner of my eye, Carl Branson's car limping into the pit lane. I think it just ran out just as he came in, so I think Carl Branson's had a disaster. I think his car's just about flamed out. So the top four are spaced out a little bit now. 6 seconds separate this man and Alessio Mazzeo in second, and then 11 seconds between this man and Coelho, and 20 seconds upwards, almost a lap, well, an entire lap on Simon Kurzbuck in fourth. But don't for a single second believe that this final is over. There are still any number of twists and turns to play out, and we do believe that some guys might be on a separate strategy, and there's still plenty that can happen in the pits and on the track. But Greiner so far, you have to say, it's pulling a faultless drive. This is about as perfect can be. He's only made one noticeable mistake in the entire race, and it was minor at best. Since then, his driving has been faultless, his pit crew have been superb. But guess what? We're not even at halfway in this race. We still have another 33 minutes to go for him to be faultless. He's been faultless for 27 minutes. If he can do it for another 33, he becomes world champion. It is that simple, but also that complicated. Through the middle chicane again, around the HBI hairpin. He's looking solid right now. He's 6.9 seconds up on Mazzeo. He's lapping around the same pace. Mazzeo can only match Greiner or lose time. He can't gain any time on him. Mazzeo is just falling, fading back. If anything, he's fading back slightly into the clutches of Bruno Coelho. But Greiner is running faultlessly right now. Simon Kurzbuck a complete lap behind, but I still believe there's something in that strategy call. Might be something to do with that. But the pit stops have really spread the cars out a little bit now. Through the middle chicane section, such a tricky part of the track. So let's see as we look down through the order, who else is in a good battle at this point in time. Takaki Shimo down in 6th, Carmen Raiola down 7th, Robert Piche down in 8th, Mean Vedrak down in 9th. He's had an absolute disaster, and of course Ballestri's early demise after just 9 laps. But Greiner is on the main straight. The field fairly spread out at this point in time. Not entirely, but Greiner is still there. Mazzeo is about 7.8 seconds down. Greiner is putting an absolute beat down on this field. And Mazzeo is the Super Pole winner and one of the fastest out here, and Greiner has just stepped up. It's as if as soon as Dario Ballestri fell by the wayside, Greiner realised this was his best chance of becoming world champion and has taken it with open arms. Through the IFMAR turns, as I said, worth pointing out, we're still not halfway yet. So Greiner has completed 100 laps already of this track. The Autodromo Internazionale Cinque Colli in Gubbio in Italy. And he still has another 100 plus to go. Plus another set of pit stops, another huge set of pit stops to go. He's under still big pressure. That pressure is not going to go away until he finishes until he crosses the line and takes the World Championship. 7.7 seconds down. Mazzeo takes the 10th back, but it's not. He needs to make big gains. Coelho is now 11.5 seconds down the road. Greiner's consistency is what's pulling out this lead. He's nailing those laps lap after lap, whilst other guys are having a minor slip-up. Greiner isn't. He just isn't making mistakes at all. And this sort of faultless level of application and aggression is really something to appreciate and something to respect massively. Through the Shepherdess again. We are coming up on halfway. So the running order at half distance is Dominic Greiner for Team Serpent out in front, followed by Alessio Mazzeo, also of Team Serpent, in second place. Third is Bruno Coelho of Team X-Ray. Fourth is Simon Kjørsbuk of Team Shepherd. And fifth is Carl Branson of Team Capricorn, followed by Takaki Shimo in sixth, Carmen Riola in seventh, Robert Piche in eighth, Meen Vedrak down in ninth, and Dario Ballestri, whose race only lasted 9 laps. And as soon as the TQ went out of here, the dominant driver in terms of pace, as soon as his race ended after just 9 laps, no way for a World Champions final to end. The field was suddenly blown wide open, and Dominic Greiner has pounced on the opportunity with open arms. He's claimed it with both hands. We're going to follow the leaders at least through the next pit stop, and here is the pit stop for Greiner. So he's in the lane. Any tyres going on at this point? Nope, it's fuel, and it's another perfect stop from the Serpent guys. Back out and away, effortless really. Absolutely effortless from Greiner. And Coelho might be coming in this lap. Coelho is on the main straight now, coming into the runner time turns. So look for the white and orange car coming into the Shepherdess right now. There's Bruno Coelho, our third place car. He's probably about the closest battle we're going to have on the track. He's about 3 seconds down on Alessio Mazzeo. He's still out. Coelho continues to stay out, so these guys have stayed out for a little bit. It's telling that Greiner has made a complete pit stop, and the gap still hasn't changed unless those guys have pitted whilst we were concentrating on Greiner's pit stop. It's entirely possible. But Coelho is running strongly in third, but he has gained time back, and I do wonder if Mazzeo hasn't made the pit stop, or Coelho hasn't pitted yet. Because the gap between Mazzeo and Greiner hasn't changed, but the gap between Mazzeo and Coelho appears to have come down. So we're going to keep our eyes on Coelho for a lap or two. It doesn't look like he's due a pit stop, so this might be legitimate on the track. And if that's the case, he's got the gap down to 2.5 seconds, which is still a yawning chasm compared to the tight margins we've seen so far out here, as Takaki Shimo has moved up to 5th ahead of Carl Branson. And in fact, we do have a battle for position going on for 5th place. So the all-yellow car of Takaki Shimo will be coming into the runner time turns right now, followed by the white car of Carl Branson through the runner time turns into the Shepherdess right now. They are right behind our leader, Dominic Greiner. This is your battle for 5th spot happening right now, and it's the closest battle on the track. Takaki Shimo in the mostly yellow number 8 Mugen car, just ahead of Carl Branson in the Capricorn car. This is your battle for 5th place. Every position fiercely contested out here. It is a matter of pride, and it's a matter of huge respect. Branson has done very well. This is your battle of your 2 last chance qualifiers, by the way. Takaki Shimo and Carl Branson. Both of these guys made it through after finishing 4th in their respective semi-finals, but their race times were the 2 fastest out of the 4th and 5th place finishers, so they made it through. And in fact, Takaki Shimo is showing pace on a par with Greiner right now. He's actually matching Greiner for pace. Maybe following in his wheel tracks is helping. He's passed Branson, and he is certainly making moves on a good pace here. Kjørsbuk appears to have unlapped himself from Greiner, but not really for too much longer, I don't think. Branson is a fair distance ahead of Carmen Riola. This is about the closest battle on the track. So I just see Coelho with a big tail slide behind us, in front of us in the HPI hairpin. And Takaki Shimo has actually passed our leader, Dominic Greiner. That is quite something. That's a moment of pride. He's unlapped himself. And what's Shimo's lap times looking like? 16.796. He's on about as fast as anyone else. At this point in time, pretty much everyone here can nail 16.4, 16.5, 16.6 and 16.7 second lap times. But it's about consistency. It's about how many times they can nail it. As Takaki Shimo of Japan is just ahead of Greiner, at which point does he fall back behind Greiner? Because you feel like Greiner is obviously the fastest out here. But Takaki Shimo doing a solid job here, up into the top 5. Has he got anything for Simon Kurzbuk? Well, he's going to have to work hard to catch up to him. He's got a long way to go, but he's up. He's showing 2 seconds. He's actually a lap behind Kurzbuk at this point, so he's got a lot of work to do. Let's drop back one car just onto our leader, Dominic Greiner, who's quickly starting to put this race to bed about as much as possible. This is about as dominant as it's possible to be in a World Championship final from Dominic Greiner, the German spearheading Team Serpent's assault. And boy, has he stepped up. He would have felt confident of beating Dario Ballestri on pace anyway, but as soon as Ballestri fell by the wayside, it was Greiner, the other man who looked head and shoulders above everyone else in control practice and free practice earlier in the week, who has stepped up to the plate and is providing a dominant performance here. Mazzeo has closed about a second, though, on pace, so that's worth noticing. Mazzeo now down to 6.3 seconds. Still a big gap. Still a vast gap. Now 6.0 seconds. Mazzeo closing in a couple of tenths every lap here and there. I imagine Greiner is aware of the gap. I imagine Greiner is aware of the space and the distance between the two, and he's just managing the gap. He's got plenty of time in hand, it has to be said. And now the gap's gone back up to 7.1 seconds, but I think that's because Mazzeo has just made a pit stop. Coelho has just gone, yeah, Mazzeo has made the stop. Greiner's in. Now what does he do this time? A fair while, just fuel and back out again. Oh, super smooth. There's been faultless pit stops so far today. In an arena where even the best can falter, the team have been absolutely spot on for Greiner. And once again, another perfect stop. And he's out behind Takaki Shimo again. But at the moment, he's in a world of his own. Now, the battle for second appears to be heating up again. So let's hold in this middle section of the track. We'll have a few cars come through. When you see the 2 orange cars come through your screen into the HPI hairpin, there's your battle for second. There you go, right in the middle of your screen. That's Alessio Mazzeo and Bruno Coelho. They've been attached with elastic bands throughout this race. They've not been able to get away from each other for too long. Has a car flamed out on the far side? I'm trying to find out. No. Just someone getting across the track. I was just watching out for the marshals there. But Mazzeo and Coelho have been unable to get away from each other. And Coelho is back there. It did mystify me where Coelho lost a lot of time. Oh, out wide on the main straight. Right up against the wall. That's Coelho's aggressive driving style for you. And now he's back in pursuit of Mazzeo, and you can see him in front of him. You can see Coelho's energy levels step up again. It's as if he needs someone in close proximity to bring the best out of Coelho. And he's very close now to Mazzeo. 1/10 of a second quicker on that last lap. Fine margins the whole way. You wouldn't expect anything less. Greiner in a comfortable lead, but this is the battle for second we're watching right now, and it's the closest battle on the track right now. Mazzeo and Coelho, Serpent versus X-Ray. Coelho trying to get up there onto the second step. And through the Shepherd S. He's really working hard, and Coelho is stepping up. Oh, across the middle run strips in that chicane, but he keeps it in a straight line. So many lesser drivers would be off and upside down in the grass with that sort of move. But Coelho's aggression, he's cutting the grass to try and keep up with Mazzeo. And that is saying something out here, considering that the grass normally bogs down cars, and it's something you don't want to touch with a 10-foot barge pole if you're one of these RC races. But Coelho's right there. The intensity and the aggression stepping up. He's closing in on Mazzeo. And the big slide coming onto the straight again. Coelho is one of those drivers who, for him, that the phrase, if you're out of control, you're in control, is absolutely spot on. He's like a sort of Colin McRae of RC racing, the way he handles these cars. Just great. He has a similar proficiency on road and off. A lot of time for... It seems like Coelho lost a lot of time on the earlier pit stop. So, down the main straight once again, they go. Through the Shepherd S. And on through the chicane again. And Coelho's closed back in again. So this is so close. This refuses to die. And they're in the pits now. Well, Mazzeo is in the pits now. And it's a tyre change for Mazzeo. So this is going to be hugely important. Mazzeo is taking tyres. Now what does Coelho do when he comes in the pit? Mazzeo is taking right side tyres and left side tyres. So he's taking 4 tyres here. He's taking 4 tyres. Coelho now in the lane. What does he do? Does he go for a fuel stop here and try to make the jump on Mazzeo? No, he's taking tyres as well. So this is going to be a big change. But if he just takes 2 tyres, he might have the advantage over Mazzeo. Right side tyres going on, left side tyres going on. So Coelho's taking 4 tyres as well. All of the leaders taking 4 tyres here. Wheels flying across the pit lane from Coelho's bunker. And it looks like Mazzeo will regain the advantage over Coelho. And in fact, I think Mazzeo's pit stop was just slightly faster. How pivotal these pit stops might be. Greiner with the pit stop, and he's back out and away. I think Greiner had a fairly effective pit stop. He looks like he's okay. What we'll see as they come across the scoring loop, it's Simon Kurzbuch who scored as your leader right now. He's now in the lane taking tyres. So it should cycle back through to Dominic Greiner, and order should be resumed. It just looks to me like Mazzeo's crew are just a bit better at the tyre stops. That's where he makes the big gains on Coelho. So as Mazzeo comes down the main straight again, you can see the gap has leaked out. Kurzbuch back into the race then. In fact, yep, Kurzbuch back into 4th spot. He slots back into 4th spot, where he has been most of this race. He's just alongside Mien Vedrak, in fact. So we're following Alessio Mazzeo, the 2nd place car, who's about upwards of a half a lap behind Greiner now. And it looks to me like, unless something hugely drastic happens to Dominic Greiner, he is about 18 minutes away from taking a maiden world championship, and what it will mean to the young man from Germany out of the Team Serpent stable, one of Michael Salvan's young prodigies. And Alessio Mazzeo, 2nd place, another passionate young man from Italy. And he's driven a good race, just been hard to keep on the pace of the guys behind. And the field have sort of separated out again. So let's see if we can find our leader, Dominic Greiner. He'll be, if we hold there in the chicane section and wait for into the Shepherd S, the pink and black car in the middle of your shot, there's Dominic Greiner. There's our leader. He's 8.4 seconds up on Alessio Mazzeo right now. Onto the main straight again. And through the Shepherd S again. With the chicane. And this has been... What else can you say? It's been a faultless display from Dominic Greiner. So far, he still has 17 minutes to go of it. And the reliability of these cars, you have to really praise the reliability of them. Ballestri's unfortunate incident beforehand. And Greiner going on through the IFMAR turns and down the main straight again. Of course, there's obviously flame outs. Of course, we're hoping no flame outs in these rounds of stops. They can have an incident as well. So, onto the main straight again. And through the run of time turns. Greiner has been about as close to faultless as it's possible to be in these races. Through the HPI hairpin. And round the IFMAR curves again. He's just been in a zone. He was psyching himself up before this event, before this race. Music on. I want to know what he was listening to, because, goodness me, that motivational effort has really paid dividends here. He is up 8.5 seconds over Mazzeo, which is about half a lap round here. And through the run of time turns. Through the middle, chicane again. And he's about to, close to putting a lap on Simon Kurzbuch. That really tells you all you need to know. Kurzbuch is one of the finest exponents of the Nitro RC racing craft in the world. And Greiner's about to put a lap on him. That really is saying something. So Greiner leads comfortably over Alessio Mazzeo in 2nd. 3rd place is still Bruno Coelho, and there's a bit of a sizable gap between the two of them. But there is actually a decreasing gap between Bruno Coelho and Simon Kurzbuch. So the gap between Simon Kurzbuch and Bruno Coelho is coming down a little bit. And it's still 3 seconds or so, so that's still a long way. In fact, if we move 2 cars forward, and the car we're following, into the Shepherd S, there you go. Right in the middle of the shot is Simon Kurzbuch, the reigning 1/8 IC Track World Champion. He will defend his title in 2017 next year, and it doesn't look like, unless the race is absolutely turned on its head in the final 15 minutes, and there's nothing to say that it won't be. And it looks like he won't even make the podium here, but it'll be very close. It'll be another 4th place for him. He's probably sick of 4th place. It's where he ended up finishing in the 1/8 European Championship in Sweden last month, when he led the entire race. And he's going to come out immediately behind Alessio Mazzeo, who's just made a fuel stop. So Kurzbuch immediately on the offensive on Mazzeo, trying to gain whatever he can. On Mazzeo, nearly looking for the pass there. Kurzbuch knows he's going to have to pit in the next lap or so, and he will be in, but it doesn't matter. He's a racer. He sees a position in front of him. He goes on the attack. And let's watch this battle for a little bit. Let's enjoy this battle between two world-class racing drivers, Alessio Mazzeo and Simon Kurzbuch, looking for the position, looking for the battle. And, oh, big lunge there in the HPI hairpin. But Kurzbuch surely will be peeling off for a pit stop very soon. No, not quite. But Mazzeo is pulling away a little bit. Greiner's now in the pits. Let's have a quick look on the pit cam. And another slick fuel stop. There's words are failing me. Just how good those pit stops are. Well, you continue to follow the battle on the track between Mazzeo and Kurzbuch, which will be curtailed shortly, I think. But I'm just looking here. In fact, Kurzbuch has scored third. So I wonder if Coelho's had some sort of mishap on his pit stop, or if these guys changed tyres or something, or Kurzbuch has not pitted yet. Now he pits. I was going to say something was not right about that, but Kurzbuch with the fuel in and out again, smooth stop. But he returns about the halfway point. Returns not too far behind Coelho, you know, so we're following Alessio Mazzeo. And let's see if we can find Bruno Coelho, who's coming out of the final corner now. And he's on the main straight. There's Coelho, your third place runner. And he's not too far ahead of Simon Kurzbuch, you know. So this might be a battle to watch in the closing 13 minutes of this race. So down the main straight again is Coelho. Such a flamboyant driving style. Mazzeo now, the gap between him and Greiner has now leaked out to 9 seconds. Absolutely relentless precision and domination from Greiner at this point. He dominated his semi-final earlier, and I always felt good about his chances in this World Championship. As I say, I really don't want to put the jinx on him, because what a heartbreaking way to lose this race would be now. Ballestri's campaign ended after just 9 laps in this race. We've since then completed 164, and Coelho is leading. Mazzeo, the gap is only increasing first to second right now. It is only leaking out further, but the gap third to fourth is actually closing in. Kurzbuch is not too far behind. The car immediately behind Coelho is Kurzbuch. So if we hold in the IFMAR turns and wait for the next car through, the next car there is Kurzbuch. There's the battle third to fourth. And that's probably the closest battle on the entire track right now. After 48 minutes of action, Coelho and Kurzbuch battling for supremacy here. Kurzbuch obviously of Team Shepherd, one of our proud partners for this event. This RC Racing TV broadcast of the IFMAR 110 IC Track World Championship 2016-17, also brought to you in association with HPI Racing by Runner Time Fuel and by IFMAR. Kurzbuch is gaining a little bit, you know. He's just sneaking into the picture. He's sneaking a couple of tenths here and there on Coelho and making a late tilt at the podium. Mazzeo looks pretty comfortable as long as he doesn't make any mistakes. He's got a good enough advantage over Coelho, but the battle for position really is happening here. Kurzbuch's chipping away. More tenths taken out of him that time. It is only tenths of seconds now, so when the gaps go up into the seconds, that's when you're really in trouble. But the thing is, Kurzbuch is chipping away relentlessly at Coelho, and I wonder if Coelho's tyres are going away late on in the running. He has a very aggressive style, and I wonder if that might be to his cost here. Kurzbuch with a slightly smoother, more precise strategy. And I wonder if that's going to pay dividends here in the late going. Kurzbuch is certainly the faster of the two right now, by matters of tenths and hundredths of second. He was only 200ths of a second quicker that time. But if Kurzbuch has another lap right now, he's now within 7 tenths. Coelho is faster by 100th of a second, but Kurzbuch is now within 7 tenths. If Coelho slips up at all and he has some traffic in front of him that might cause that, Kurzbuch is going to be on him and pounce for a podium spot in the World Championship. It may not be another world title to add to his 1/8 world title, but he'll take a podium finish here. Coelho slices past Takaki Shimo, the lap car, really nicely. Didn't wait for any blue flags there. Kurzbuch now has to make his way by. Takaki Shimo gets out of his way. Nice driving there. Well done. The lap car did not interfere with the battle for position. So Greiner continues to lead by upwards of 10 seconds. But this is the battle we're watching right now. The battle for third has really closed up. Bruno Coelho, the reigning 1/10 European champion, versus Simon Kurzbuch, the reigning 1/8 world champion. Flying down the main straight again. A pit stop for Mazzeo with 10 minutes to go. These two should be in the lane soon as well. So that could be where this battle is decided. If either of these two have to take tyres as well, that could be a factor. But Coelho appears to be fading back into the clutches of Kurzbuch and struggling to hold him off. Coelho into the lane. Kurzbuch stays out for an extra lap. So Coelho, fuel, and away. So he gets a good stop. We now wait to see what Kurzbuch does. Kurzbuch through the HPI hairpin. and round the IFMAR turns once again. Does he pit this time? He does not. He stays out for a few extra laps, pressing home his advantage. He's obviously feeling good about his car right now. He's scored second right now. Greiner has been in and out of the lane. Another faultless stop from him, I can tell you, as if you expected anything different. Kersbuck once again continues on his way through the runner time turns. This is Kersbuck at his very best. But Coelho is threatening to make the margins back. They're still lapping within the hundredths of seconds of each other, as if you expected anything less. Is Kersbuck in the pits now? Yes, he is. The vital pit stop coming up for Kersbuck. If he gets a good stop here, he might be able to retain the track. And, oh, but a spin in the exit of pit lane. He comes out, they're going to be side by side, but he gets just in front of Coelho. So in spite of that spin on the exit of pit road, Kersbuck still takes the position from Bruno Coelho there. And a great performance, a great pit stop there from Kersbuck. Really, really good stuff. And Kersbuck's crew there, you have to give credit to the Team Shepherd crew. They had a great pit stop, such a good pit stop in fact, and the ability to click those few extra in-laps off. Kersbuck went a few extra laps and was in the groove, and that paid off to his advantage. He closed up that slight advantage, and despite a spin on pit exit for Kersbuck, he still was able to take the position over Coelho. But this battle continues to provide us with a lot of entertainment. They'll have just one pit stop to go. Dominic Greiner is still in a commanding lead in this race. And Mazzeo remains in second, but not too far ahead of these guys, it's interesting to say. So second, third, fourth appear to be closing up. Just as Greiner is almost 3/4 of a lap ahead of them. Whoa, Coelho is just so wide out of that final corner. Unbelievable just how many liberties he's taking through there. He's been full aggressive all the way, but I just wonder if he's just burnt this set of tyres out. And Kersbuck's slightly more precise driving style has paid dividends here, because Kersbuck's slowly starting to edge away. He's been a lot quicker, well, a tiny bit quicker per lap in this final quarter of the race. And I think it's starting to tell. Mazzeo appears to have lost a little bit of pace. They've lost a couple of tenths. Mazzeo is falling slowly back into their clutches, you know. That orange car you just saw in the corner of his shot is Mazzeo. So you see Mazzeo, then Kersbuck and Coelho. Second, third, fourth are closing up. Certainly there's no closing up to be done on Dominic Greiner. He's in a world of his own right now. But this is the battle we're watching for second, third and fourth for the final podium spots in the IFMAR 1/10 IC Track World Championship 2016-17. And it's Kersbuck of Team Shepherd, one of our sponsors for this event, along with HPI Racing, Runner Time Fuel and IFMAR. It's Kersbuck of Team Shepherd who's looking to close out and take a podium finish here, which would be a great reward for his efforts. But at the moment, there's 4 of the most talented RC drivers in the world fighting it out for 3 spots. Now, we know Dominic Greiner has pretty much, barring disaster, locked down the win here and the World Championship, and he's only a few minutes away from closing that one out. He just needs to keep it clean. But in the meantime, 3 into 2 remaining podium spots just will not go. So, through the HPI hairpin, and Kersbuck continuing to keep the pace over Coelho. Maybe 2 more stops to go for these guys, but there should just be 1 more if they've been sticking on a 5 minutes per run kind of strategy. And Mazzeo is definitely falling back into Kersbuck's clutches. He's been consistently around 0.2 of a second quicker per lap. Mazzeo is definitely falling back into Kersbuck's clutches. Coelho is staying with Kersbuck and is therefore being pulled into this battle as well. It's a classic European battle right now, and in this World Championship event, it's been the stars of the European scene who have really stepped up here and have made a big statement here. Kersbuck wide out of the final corner. That brings Coelho a little bit more into play. Coelho with a big lunge in the runner time turn. That's not normally a passing zone, but for Coelho, anywhere is a legit passing opportunity, and he's going to take it. Coelho out the inside again. Kersbuck cuts it off. Very smart driving. We talked about it earlier. That out to in line. Again, Coelho so wide out of the final corner, nearly bouncing off the wall. Coelho has really stepped up in the final few laps, and this battle is intense once again. The battle for third is on, and this will be a merciful relief for Mazzeo, who might be able to get run away a little bit from these guys, run away and hide, whilst Kersbuck and Coelho battle it out. A final pit stop for Mazzeo, side by side in the first few corners. Brilliant driving from Kersbuck and Coelho. They didn't even touch once in the runner time turns. Coelho putting it all on the line here. Off the inside again. Kersbuck shuts the door on him. Still no contact between the 2 of them. Now they're both in pits at the same time. This final pit stop will be vital. Fuel in for the cars. Kersbuck and Coelho back out of the pits the same way they entered, nose to tail. And Mazzeo is right there as well. They've gained time on Mazzeo in this cycle of pit stops as well. So we have second, third, fourth right together again, right at the end of this race. Dominic Greiner, meanwhile, is still out in front by a comfortable measure. But it's a battle for the other podium spots that is keeping us engrossed here in the final 5 minutes of the IFMAR 1/10 IC Track World Championship 2016-17 final. Mazzeo is now under huge pressure from Kurzbuch. Kurzbuch trying to go on the attack, just as if to say, look, can you deal with this maniac behind me and Bruno Coelho, because I'm sick of him. I want to move up into second, and I want to stop having the blowtorch applied. Mazzeo is under huge pressure. 2 European and world champions behind him. Kurzbuch looking for the move. This is brilliant driving. The crowd are on their feet here. They're appreciating this brilliant display of RC driving. Great competitive driving. The battle for second is intense and is between 3 cars right now. Alexio Mazzeo of Team Serpent, Simon Kurzbuch of Team Shepherd, and Bruno Coelho of Team X-Ray. And at the moment, it's anyone's guess. Mazzeo defending brilliantly from Kurzbuch, whose relentless concentration will keep him right in the mix. Coelho is there, ready to pounce on any mistakes in these front 2, ready to pounce as soon as any of these guys go offline. Kurzbuch looking tight through the HPI hairpin. Mazzeo breaks as late as he dares. Coelho looking for a stab up the inside of Kurzbuch as he goes up the inside on the attack on Mazzeo. This is wonderful to watch. All their pit stops are out the way. This is a flat-out battle to the line now for second, third, fourth. For the podium positions, Coelho looks up the inside in the Shepherd S. Puts Kurzbuch off his rhythm just a little bit. But now up the inside on Mazzeo goes Kurzbuch. Doesn't get the position. Great defensive driving from all 3 of them. They still haven't touched at all. I wonder how much that clean driving will continue as Kurzbuch really on the offensive on Mazzeo. Goes for the switchback in the Shepherd S. He's got to be looking for the move in the HPI hairpin. But Mazzeo is late on the brakes again. This is all happening about half a lap behind Dominic Greiner, by the way, who is on course to become world champion. But this is the battle that we are being enthralled with right now. The battle for second between Alexio Mazzeo, Simon Kurzbuch, and Bruno Coelho. Big slide from Kurzbuch there. Huge slide. The crowd are on their feet again. They're applauding and loving this action here. The passionate home fans have really added some great colour to this event. And they are enjoying this brilliant display of RC driving here. World-class RC driving from Alexio Mazzeo, Simon Kurzbuch, and Bruno Coelho. Kurzbuch under attack from Coelho again. This literally could end in any order whatsoever. 2 minutes to go. And I want to try and show Dominic Greiner crossing the line to win the World Championship, but I don't dare because this battle is so good. 3 into 2 just won't go. Second, third, fourth, all on your screen right there, all battling with each other in a thrilling display of battling. Coelho looking up the inside in the IFMAR turns. That's a ballsy place to try and go for a move. But if anyone's going to make a pass there, it is Bruno Coelho. He looks up the inside of Kurzbuch again, battling hard for that podium spot. Kurzbuch does not want to finish fourth again. He's sick of doing that. But he's on the attack on Mazzeo again through the IFMAR turns. It looks like Mazzeo gets the better run. They've just dropped Coelho just a little bit. Kurzbuch with some contact into the first turn. That won't please the home fans at all. Kurzbuch does not care. He wants second and he wants it now. He goes wide through the first turn. Mazzeo cuts off the apex, blocks him off there, kills his momentum. That'll bring Coelho back into play. 1 minute 15 to go. Through the Shepherd S once more with feeling. They've got a few more laps to go. Coelho's back on the offensive. We've not forgotten about him at all. How could we? So Greiner is continuing on with this lead. He's a minute away from becoming world champion, but we're still engrossed in this battle behind. This is remarkable. Mazzeo, if you can hold on to this, you're a legend. Kurzbuch lets Coelho in, and a little bit of contact there from Coelho. It was inevitable after a while. Coelho bangs wheels at Kurzbuch. Oh, goodness me. I think that's just a breather, and they've spaced out a little bit, so now might be a good time to find our man who is 30 seconds away from becoming world champion. He's on the main straight, through the runner time turns, the pink and black Team Serpent car of Dominic Greiner. He's 30 seconds away from becoming world champion for the first time. This will be probably the best drive of his entire life and the peak of his entire career. He's got about a lap to go. The crowd are standing up and applauding. They can sense that he's about to be crowned world champion. He's only got a few more turns to go. Perfection is impossible in life, but Dominic Greiner's found it in RC racing terms. I think, is he going to have another lap round? And no, he's going to have one more lap, I think. One more lap around, and we've got a battle for second still. Kurzbuch is in the battle with Mazzeo. It looks like Mazzeo is going to come across the line and take second place, and the home crowd are going crazy. Greiner, meanwhile, is coming through the IFMAR turns. He's going to come across the line and be crowned world champion. As the crowd are on their feet and applauding the home hero comes home second in that fierce battle with Simon Kurzbuch and Bruno Coelho. But Dominic Greiner is the man, and look at him, he's pounding the driver's rostrum up there. He is absolutely delighted. I'm about to run down there and see if I can have a word with him, with our new world champion.